The night on the colony planet was unusually quiet. The small human settlement lay under the dim light of the twin moons, their glow casting long, soft shadows across the metal walls of the habitat domes. Most of the colonists were asleep, their breathing steady, dreams filled with thoughts of Earth and what had been left behind. Among them, in one modest living quarters, the engineer Alex sat at his desk, half awake, tinkering with a small device that had been malfunctioning all day. Sparks occasionally flew from the tiny wires, and the soft hum of machinery filled the otherwise silent room. Alex rubbed his eyes, weary from a long day of repairing generators and recalibrating sensors. The colony had been expanding rapidly, and as one of the few engineers with experience both on Earth and in off-world conditions, he was always busy. Still, he enjoyed the work. There was something satisfying about solving problems, about taking chaos and turning it into order. Tonight, though, he felt a strange unease. Something in the air was different. He couldn't tell if it was the planet's faint electric storms or something else entirely, but the feeling made the hairs on the back of his neck stand on end. Then he saw her. At first, he thought it was a trick of the shadows or maybe a reflection from one of the monitors, but as his eyes adjusted, he realized the truth. A figure was moving silently in the corner of the room. She was unlike any human he had ever seen. Her skin shimmered faintly under the dim light, almost like the surface of water catching moonlight. Her hair floated softly as if weightless, and her eyes, large, almond-shaped and glowing faintly, watched him with calm certainty. She wore nothing, yet there was no sense of threat, no feeling of danger. Instead, she moved with confidence like she belonged there. Alex froze. His mind raced, cycling through every protocol he knew. Alien encounters had been discussed in simulations, in the briefings before leaving Earth, but nothing could prepare someone for this. He wanted to reach for his communicator to call for security, but the alien girl's calm presence made his movements hesitate. It was almost as if she could read his thoughts, understanding every instinct, every doubt. She didn't speak.
She didn't even blink rapidly.
She simply observed him, tilting her head slightly as if studying him, learning him in a way that felt intimate yet respectful. There was a softness in her gaze, a quiet invitation that both alarmed and intrigued Alex. He took a cautious step back, trying not to make sudden movements. Who are you?" he managed to whisper. His voice sounded louder than he intended, echoing slightly in the small room. The girl didn't answer. Instead, she moved closer, each step silent, deliberate. She stopped a few feet away from him, and for a moment the only sound was the faint hum of the broken device on his desk. Her eyes flicked toward it, then back to him, and he felt a strange awareness that she understood his work, his purpose, even without words. Alex's mind was a storm of thoughts. Was she hostile? Was this some kind of alien scout sent to observe humans? Or worse, was she a threat to the colony? Every logical part of his brain screamed to act, to grab a weapon or alert someone, yet a deeper, instinctual feeling told him that she was not dangerous. Slowly, cautiously, he lowered his hand from where he had unconsciously reached for his toolkit. "Do you need something?" he asked, his voice steadier now. The alien girl tilted her head and her lips parted slightly, not to speak but to show acknowledgement. Then she reached out her hand, delicate and glowing faintly, pointing toward the broken device. Alex's curiosity overcame his fear. He hesitated, then moved toward the desk. The moment he touched the device again, it hummed to life, lights flickering and circuits adjusting themselves with precision he had not programmed. Alex stepped back, astonished. He watched as the alien girl moved closer, her fingers barely touching the device, and it stabilized completely. You fixed it?" Alex asked, disbelief in his voice. The girl's gaze met his, and for the first time she smiled, a small, knowing smile that seemed to convey both pride and amusement. Alex realized then that her understanding of technology, of patterns, of energy, was far beyond human capability. And yet there was no arrogance in her presence, just a quiet confidence, a sense that she had come here with purpose. "What are you?" he whispered. Instead of answering, she turned and gestured toward the window. Outside, the colony lay under the twin moons, calm but fragile. Alex followed her gaze and felt the same unease he had felt earlier, multiplied. Something was coming. Something dangerous. The girl's eyes flicked back to his, and he felt a connection, a silent communication passing between them. She needed him, and perhaps unknowingly he needed her too. Why me? He asked softly. Her lips curved slightly as if amused by the question. She reached out, placing a hand on his arm, a touch that was gentle but commanding. In that moment, Alex understood. She wasn't just an observer. She had chosen him, not because of his rank, his knowledge, or his experience, but because humans were unpredictable, adaptive, resilient, and in ways even superior species sometimes overlooked, brilliant. The sound of alarms suddenly broke the moment. Red lights flashed outside his window, and the low hum of the colony's defensive systems activated. Something large, something fast was moving toward them. Alex's heart pounded, but he didn't panic. Not entirely. The alien girl's presence was steadying. She didn't run, didn't hide. She moved toward the door and without a word gestured for him to follow. He grabbed his communicator and a toolkit, ready to face whatever was coming. The alien girl stepped out of the room first, silent as before, and he noticed something remarkable. She knew the layout of the colony perfectly, as if she had walked these halls many times before. They reached the central hub, where the colony's sensors were reporting strange readings, shadows moving faster than any known animal, energy signatures not matching any known technology. Alex turned to her. You know what this is? She nodded, her glowing eyes scanning the data streaming across the monitors. Then she looked at him, and Alex felt a shiver run down his spine. You will need to think like a human, she said, her voice low but clear. The answer is not in what I can do. It is in what you can do, the word struck him. He realized she wasn't there to save him or the colony alone. She had come to guide him, to challenge him, to bring out the ingenuity that only humans possessed. And as much as he wanted to be scared, he felt a spark of excitement. For the first time in weeks, Alex felt alive. Outside, the shadows grew closer. The colony's alarms blared louder. But Alex and the alien girl stood together, silent but united. One was human, unpredictable, adaptive, capable of creative solutions. The other was alien, gifted beyond human understanding, yet trusting in him. Together they faced the unknown. The night stretched on, full of tension, full of danger, but also full of possibility. The alien girl had slipped into his room silently, without permission, yet with purpose. And in doing so, she had ignited something within Alex, an understanding that humanity, though small in the galaxy, was never powerless when cleverness, courage, and determination combined. By the time the first hints of dawn touched the colony, Alex had already begun planning. He would need every skill, every instinct, every ounce of creativity. And for the first time, he didn't feel alone. The alien girl stood beside him, silent and bare, like she belonged, and perhaps in some strange way she did. The alien girl did not speak, yet her presence commanded attention. Alex followed her through the colony's corridors, each step measured, precise, as if she had navigated this place countless times before. The twin moons cast long shadows through the reinforced windows, and the faint hum of the colony's systems created a constant background drone. Alex's heart still raced from the strange encounter in his room, but now a different sensation grew inside him, a mixture of curiosity, caution, and wonder. He glanced at her as they walked. She moved without hesitation, her bare feet silent against the metal floor, her glowing eyes scanning every corner. Something about her was otherworldly, but it wasn't frightening. There was a calm intelligence in every gesture, a confidence that made Alex feel both safe and challenged at the same time. They reached the central hub, where the colony's sensors had been detecting anomalies. Large screens displayed shifting energy patterns and fast-moving shadows. Some of the readings looked familiar, machines, drones, or perhaps even rogue robots, but others were completely alien, impossible to classify. Alex frowned, trying to make sense of the data. The alien girl stepped forward, pointing to one of the energy readings. The pattern pulsed rhythmically like a heartbeat. Alex leaned closer, adjusting the sensors and trying to interpret the data. This isn't any drone we've deployed," he muttered. "It's too fast, too precise. And these energy readings, they're unlike anything in our database." The girl's gaze met his, and Alex felt a silent message passing between them. She wanted him to understand, to see patterns he might not notice immediately. She was not there to act for him. She was there to guide him, to show that human thinking, human intuition, could solve problems where alien power alone might fail. Alex leaned back and studied the patterns again. He realized the pulses were directional, moving along paths that suggested strategic targeting. Someone or something was testing the colony, learning its weaknesses. His stomach tightened. If these anomalies were intentional, the colony could be in danger. The alien girl moved closer to him, her hand hovering near a holographic display. With a faint touch, the readings shifted, revealing hidden lines that Alex had missed. The paths traced routes through the colony's corridors and systems, as if mapping out the fastest ways to infiltrate or sabotage. Alex's mind raced. Whoever or whatever was behind this attack was not just random. They were smart, calculating, and extremely dangerous. You're showing me something, Alex said, his voice a mixture of awe and tension. I can see the paths now. But why? How do you know all this? She tilted her head slightly and her eyes glowed brighter for a brief moment. Then she moved toward another console and gestured again, pointing toward a secondary pattern that intersected the main one. Alex realized that this pattern represented an unexpected variable, something the attackers hadn't accounted for. He began working quickly, tracing the lines, predicting potential points of entry, and marking safe zones for colonists. The alien girl watched, occasionally nudging him in the right direction with subtle gestures. She never interfered directly. Instead, she allowed him to use his human reasoning to solve the puzzle. Hours passed as they worked together. Alex adjusted the colony's defenses, reprogrammed security drones, and created contingency plans. All the while, the alien girl moved silently among the consoles, sometimes standing close enough that he could feel the faint warmth radiating from her. Her attention never wavered, yet she never spoke a word. Finally, a warning flashed on one of the screens. A fast-moving object had breached the outer perimeter. Alex's heart skipped a beat. He grabbed his communicator and tried to alert the security team, but the girl's hand rested gently on his arm, stopping him. Her eyes conveyed calm, patience, and a strange confidence that Alex could not ignore. She stepped forward, and with a series of precise gestures, she indicated the path of the intruder. Alex traced the movement and realized the object wasn't a drone, it was alive. A creature of energy and motion, faster than any human, alien, or machine he had ever encountered. The readings showed it scanning the colony, calculating and moving with intent. It's not just a threat, Alex said under his breath. It's intelligent. It knows what it's doing. The alien girl's glowing eyes met his, and for the first time she communicated more clearly. A series of gestures, almost like a silent language, outlined a strategy. Observe, mislead, and use the intruder's own logic against it. Alex's mind raced to interpret her guidance, and slowly, a plan formed. He accessed the colony's central control system and began creating decoy signals, false readings that would mislead the intruder, drawing it away from critical systems and colonist quarters. The alien girl hovered nearby, correcting minor errors in his calculations with the faintest gestures, almost like a teacher guiding a student. Hours stretched into night. The colony's lights dimmed to conserve energy, shadows deepening in the hallways. Alex and the alien girl moved in synchronized precision, their combined efforts forming a defense network that was both intricate and adaptive. He realized that while she had powers beyond human capability, it was his creativity, intuition, and understanding of the colony's systems that made their strategy work. Then came the first encounter. A shadow surged through a corridor, moving faster than any sensor could track. Alex activated a security drone, directing it toward the path while the alien girl moved silently to intercept. The drone's lights flashed, casting the corridor in stark illumination, and the intruder's energy form recoiled slightly. Alex adjusted the system, predicting its next movement. The alien girl was already there, standing calmly in the intruder's path. It paused as if assessing her. Alex held his breath. He realized that her presence alone influenced the intruder's behavior. It hesitated, uncertain how to proceed. In that moment, Alex recognized the unspoken truth. Her intelligence, her alien abilities, and her silent command over the environment created opportunities that he could exploit. He redirected the intruder toward an energy trap he had rigged. The creature hesitated, then moved into the trap. A controlled pulse of energy captured it, temporarily immobilizing it. Alex exhaled sharply, relief washing over him. The alien girl stepped back, observing, her eyes glowing softly in acknowledgement. We did it, Alex whispered, still processing what had just happened. She tilted her head and gestured toward the security screens. More readings were appearing now, indicating additional intruders, or perhaps the same one scouting other areas. Alex's relief was short-lived. The colony was not yet safe, but for the first time he felt a surge of confidence. He had been tested, challenged, and guided. The alien girl had shown him that humans were not powerless, that human creativity and adaptability could match, even outmaneuver, forces that seemed far superior. He felt a strange bond forming, a connection born of shared purpose and mutual respect. Through the long hours of planning, observing, and acting, Alex noticed small details about the alien girl. She was patient, precise, and surprisingly attentive to human emotion. She seemed to understand not just strategy, but also the importance of trust and timing. In moments of high tension, her calm presence reminded him to think clearly, to act deliberately, and to trust his instincts. The colony's sensors detected no more immediate threats for the time being. Alex allowed himself a brief pause, leaning against a console and rubbing his tired eyes. The alien girl stood beside him, silent but present, as if sharing in the unspoken satisfaction of a job well done. Alex realized something remarkable. This encounter, this unexpected intrusion into his life, had changed everything. Humans were often underestimated in the galaxy, considered predictable, limited, and fragile. Yet here he was, facing a threat that defied understanding. Guided by an alien intelligence and using his own human skills to turn the tide, the alien girl's gaze lingered on him, and Alex felt an unspoken acknowledgement. She had chosen him not because he was the strongest, fastest, or smartest in isolation, but because humans had something unique: creativity, ingenuity, and the ability to adapt in ways even the most advanced species sometimes overlooked. As the twin moons rose higher in the sky, casting their pale light over the colony, Alex and the alien girl stood side by side, ready for whatever came next. The night had tested them, challenged them, and revealed both danger and possibility. And in that quiet, tense moment, Alex understood something fundamental. Humanity was never truly alone, never truly powerless. With courage, wit, and adaptability, humans could face the unknown, rise above impossible odds, and earn a place even among the stars. The alien girl, silent and bare, had slipped into his room, and in doing so, she had awakened something extraordinary, not just in him, but in the potential of humanity itself. Together, they would face the threats ahead, a team forged by circumstance, trust, and mutual recognition of each other's strengths. For the first time in a long while, Alex felt not just alive, but capable. The colony was in peril, the danger was real, but for the first time he saw hope. Not hope in weapons or technology alone, but hope in human ingenuity, courage, and the strange, silent bond he shared with this alien girl. The night stretched on, full of tension, full of danger, but also full of promise. And as the first faint light of dawn touched the alien girl remained beside Alex as he moved through the corridors of the colony, checking systems and sensors with practiced hands. Her presence was calm, almost hypnotic, and it seemed to focus Alex's thoughts in a way that nothing else could. He had learned during the night that her abilities were extraordinary, but it was her intelligence and her patience that truly impressed him. She didn't rush him. She didn't take over. She guided, and in that guidance Alex realized he had to trust his own mind, his own instincts. The readings from the outer perimeter were still irregular, though the first wave of intruders had been contained. There were signs that more were approaching, patterns of energy movement, flickers on the surveillance feeds, and faint ripples in the colony's force shields. The alien girl's eyes, glowing faintly in the dim light, flicked toward each anomaly, processing each one silently. She gestured for Alex to follow her to the observation deck, a wide platform that overlooked the settlement and the rugged terrain beyond. From there, Alex could see the moons reflecting off the rocky surface of the planet, creating shadows and light that danced across the hills and valleys. But it wasn't the landscape that caught his attention, it was movement. Small, quick forms were darting among the rocks, almost invisible in the moonlight. The sensors confirmed it. These were not natural creatures. They were deliberate, coordinated, and moving toward the colony with purpose. Alex swallowed hard. He had seen dangerous wildlife on his previous assignments, but nothing moved like this. It was intelligent, calculating, and relentless. Why would they come here? He asked, though he knew the alien girl would not answer in words. She didn't answer, but she moved closer to the holographic controls, projecting energy patterns over the colony. With a series of gestures, she indicated likely paths, probable points of entry, and the areas where the colony's defenses were weakest. Her understanding of movement and strategy was astonishing, but the most remarkable thing was how she seemed to anticipate his thoughts. Each time he formulated a plan, she subtly nudged him to think one step ahead. Alex leaned over the controls, tracing the energy flows in the predicted paths. He realized something remarkable. The intruders were following logic that he could understand, patterns that could be predicted if he thought creatively enough. He began rerouting power to defensive nodes, creating barriers and decoys to guide the intruders away from key systems. The alien girl watched silently, occasionally adjusting his inputs with faint gestures that made the systems respond in ways he hadn't imagined. Hours passed as they worked. Each intrusion attempt became more challenging, requiring Alex to combine his human ingenuity with the alien girl's insight. Together they formed a rhythm, a silent conversation of glances, gestures, and adjustments. They didn't speak, yet each understood the other perfectly. Suddenly, one of the energy readings spiked. Alex jumped, startled. The intruder had changed strategy. It was no longer following predictable paths. It was improvising, testing their defenses in ways that were both terrifying and fascinating. The alien girl's eyes glowed brighter. She gestured toward the spike, then pointed to a specific node in the colony system. Alex realized she was telling him to use a trap, not just a defensive measure, but something that required careful timing and human intuition. He quickly calculated the angles, the timing, and the sequence, setting the trap with steady hands. The intruder appeared in the corridor, moving with impossible speed. Alex held his breath, watching the shadows flicker across the walls. The trap activated just as the intruder reached the designated point. Energy surged, forming a barrier that slowed it down. It tried to retreat, but Alex anticipated the movement, redirecting power to close the barrier behind it. The alien girl stepped forward, placing her hand near the trapped intruder. It recoiled, and Alex noticed something he hadn't expected. It wasn't just mechanical or energy-based. It reacted to presence, to intention. Her calm, focused energy seemed to influence its behavior, creating opportunities that Alex could exploit. He guided it with his adjustments, leading it toward a containment field that would hold it until more permanent measures could be implemented. When the intruder was finally contained, Alex exhaled, feeling both relief and exhilaration. He turned to the alien girl, who regarded him with what seemed like quiet approval. For the first time, he realized the depth of their partnership. She had abilities beyond comprehension, yes, but it was his human mind, his creativity, and his courage that made their strategy work. Without him, her powers alone would not have been enough. They spent the next hours securing the colony, reinforcing weak points, and preparing for possible future attacks. Alex marveled at her efficiency and understanding. She seemed to know instinctively what was important, what could be ignored, and how to guide him without taking over. In every movement, every gesture, she demonstrated that intelligence was more than brute strength or speed. It was strategy, patience, and understanding. During a brief pause, Alex leaned against a console, rubbing his tired eyes. The alien girl approached him, tilting her head slightly. He noticed a softness in her gaze, a quiet recognition of his efforts. She reached out, touching a hand to his shoulder in a gesture that was both reassuring and grounding. It was a simple act, yet it carried meaning. Trust, acknowledgement, and an unspoken bond formed through shared struggle. Alex realized then that this was not just about defending the colony. This was about learning, growing, and understanding. The alien girl had chosen him for a reason. She saw potential in humans that many others overlooked: creativity, adaptability, and resilience. She had come not to lead, but to teach, to challenge, and to inspire. The next threat arrived sooner than expected. Another energy spike appeared on the sensors, more complex and erratic than before. Alex and the alien girl moved quickly, analyzing the pattern and predicting its next movement. This intruder was smarter, testing their defenses with a new strategy. It darted through the corridors, disrupting systems and forcing them to react faster than ever. Alex's mind raced. He began rerouting power, creating dynamic barriers and setting decoy signals. The alien girl guided him subtly, pointing out angles, timing, and sequences he might have missed. Together, they formed a synchronized pattern of action and reaction, adapting in real time to the intruder's movements. The tension in the colony was palpable. Lights flickered, alarms rang faintly, and every colonist was unaware of the danger just beyond their doors. Alex felt the weight of responsibility, but he also felt a growing confidence. He was human, yes, but humans were unpredictable, resourceful, and capable of thinking in ways no algorithm could replicate. As the intruder approached the central hub, Alex initiated a carefully planned maneuver. Energy barriers shifted, decoys activated, and the alien girl moved with precision to guide its movements. The intruder hesitated, miscalculating, and Alex seized the opportunity to trap it in a containment field. Energy surged, illuminating the room in bright light. The intruder struggled briefly, then stilled, immobilized. Alex exhaled, feeling a mix of exhaustion and triumph. The alien girl's eyes glowed faintly, and she gestured toward the containment field, a silent acknowledgement of their success. For the first time, he allowed himself a moment of pride. They had faced an intelligent, dangerous threat and emerged victorious, not through brute force, but through strategy, ingenuity, and teamwork. In the quiet aftermath, Alex began reviewing the data, trying to understand the intruder's patterns and predict any future attacks. The alien girl remained beside him, patient and observant. She didn't need to speak. Her presence alone was enough to focus his thoughts, to push him to think critically and creatively. Hours passed, and the colony remained quiet for the first time since the night began. Alex felt a sense of accomplishment, but also a growing realization. This was only the beginning. The galaxy was vast, full of threats and wonders alike. Humans were not the strongest, fastest, or most powerful species, but they were clever, adaptable, and capable of rising to any challenge. The alien girl had come into his life silently, without explanation, and yet she had revealed something fundamental. Human potential was limitless when combined with courage, intelligence, and determination. She had chosen him not because he was perfect, but because he embodied the qualities that made humans remarkable. As dawn approached, casting pale light over the colony, Alex looked at the alien girl. She remained silent, watching the horizon, her glowing eyes reflecting both the past night's struggles and the promise of what was to come. He realized that this partnership, formed under the pressure of danger, had created a bond deeper than words could express. The colony had survived, thanks to their combined efforts. But more importantly, Alex had learned something vital. Humans were not powerless, not insignificant, not bound by limits others assumed they had. With creativity, adaptability, and courage, they could face the unknown and overcome challenges that seemed impossible. The alien girl turned to him briefly, her gaze lingering. In that moment, Alex understood something he had not before. She trusted him. She believed in human potential, in his mind and his instincts, and in return he knew he would rise to meet any challenge, guided by her presence and his own determination. The colony had been quiet for only a short time. Alex knew the intruders were intelligent and persistent, and the calm was merely a pause before the storm. The alien girl stood beside him, her glowing eyes scanning the perimeter, reading data from the sensors with silent precision. Every flicker on the screens, every ripple in the energy readings, she noticed it all. Alex felt both comforted and challenged by her presence. She didn't just guide him. She pushed him to think in ways he never had before. Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the colony. Red lights flashed violently, casting stark shadows on the walls. Alex's heart pounded as he raced to the central hub. The sensors showed multiple intruders approaching from different directions, moving with remarkable speed and coordination. It was clear this was no random attack. Someone, or something, was targeting the colony intentionally, testing every weak point, probing for vulnerabilities. The alien girl gestured toward the main screens, indicating their first priority, the energy hub. If the intruders reached it, the entire colony could lose power, leaving the population vulnerable. Alex understood immediately. He began issuing commands, rerouting energy, and activating defensive drones, while the alien girl moved gracefully to adjust systems directly, her fingers tracing patterns in the air that Alex could not have anticipated. As they worked, Alex realized something astonishing. The alien girl's abilities were impressive, but it was the combination of her powers and his human thinking that made the defense effective. She could anticipate movement, manipulate systems, and sense energy flows beyond human perception. But she relied on him to improvise, to react creatively to unexpected changes. He was no longer just an engineer. He was a strategist, a tactician, and a protector. The first wave of intruders struck. Shadows surged through the corridors faster than any sensor could track. Drones lit the paths with beams of energy, illuminating creatures that were part organic, part technological. They moved with intent, calculated but adaptable. Alex activated a series of energy barriers, redirecting them into containment fields. The alien girl moved beside him, her hand hovering over the controls, subtly influencing the barriers and enhancing their effectiveness. One intruder broke through the defenses, charging toward the energy hub. Alex felt a surge of panic but quickly remembered the alien girl's teachings. He focused, calculating angles, timing, and sequences. He activated a trap he had designed earlier, using the intruder's speed against it. The creature collided with the barrier, stunned, and Alex quickly sealed it within a containment field. The alien girl's eyes glowed softly in acknowledgement. She gestured toward another sector, indicating that multiple breaches were imminent. Alex nodded, understanding immediately. They had no time to rest. The colony's survival depended on their teamwork and ingenuity. They moved through the corridors, blocking intruders, redirecting energy flows, and guiding drones with a combination of strategy and instinct. Each encounter tested Alex's limits. The intruders were relentless, adapting to their tactics, but he noticed something remarkable. No matter how advanced or alien the attackers were, human creativity and unpredictability gave them an edge. He could think in ways the intruders could not anticipate, improvising solutions in real time. The alien girl guided him silently, signaling paths, priorities, and timing. Her abilities made her seem almost omniscient, but Alex realized that she needed him just as much as he needed her. Her perception and speed were unmatched, but she relied on his ingenuity, his capacity to create solutions under pressure. Together, they formed a rhythm, a combination of instinct and intelligence that no intruder could match. Hours passed as the battle continued. The colony's lights flickered and the alarms never ceased. Every corridor, every control room, every energy node was under threat. Alex's body ached, but his mind was sharp, focused entirely on the problem before him. The alien girl moved with fluid precision, her gestures guiding him to act decisively. At one point, an intruder bypassed their defenses and reached the central energy hub. Alex froze for a fraction of a second, calculating his options. The alien girl's eyes locked onto his, and in that moment he understood. He had to trust his instincts. He activated a secondary defense protocol, rerouting energy to create a temporary shield, then used a containment field to trap the intruder. The alien girl adjusted the energy flows, ensuring the trap held. Relief washed over him briefly, but he knew this was only a small victory. The intruders were persistent and intelligent. They would continue to test the colony, probing for weaknesses. Alex realized that victory depended not on strength, but on adaptability, creativity, and timing. Humans might not be the fastest or the strongest species in the galaxy, but they were inventive, resourceful, and unpredictable. The alien girl gestured toward the observation deck. Alex followed, understanding that they needed a new strategy. From above, they could see the movement of multiple intruders across the colony perimeter. Some moved like coordinated units, while others adapted individually, testing systems and avoiding traps. Alex analyzed the patterns, predicting their next moves. The alien girl's eyes flicked to a specific energy spike, indicating the most dangerous threat. Alex focused on it, calculating angles and possibilities. He rerouted energy, creating decoys and barriers to mislead the intruders. The alien girl moved beside him, her hands hovering over the controls, enhancing the defenses with her subtle manipulations. As the intruders approached the central hub again, Alex enacted a complex sequence. Energy barriers shifted, decoys activated, and containment fields engaged. The alien girl guided him through each step, correcting small errors and optimizing their responses. The intruders hesitated, miscalculating the human strategy, and Alex seized the opportunity to trap several simultaneously. The battle continued for hours. The colony's inhabitants remained unaware of the near catastrophe unfolding around them, protected by Alex and the alien girl. He marveled at her abilities and her intelligence, but he also recognized his own strength. Human creativity, intuition, and adaptability were the true keys to their survival. She had guided him, but he had executed, improvised, and triumphed. Finally, the last intruder approached the energy hub. It moved faster than anything Alex had seen, a blur of calculated energy and motion. He activated a final trap, combining decoys, energy barriers, and containment fields. The alien girl moved alongside him, her presence steadying and guiding him. The intruder collided with the trap, struggling briefly, then stilled. Alex exhaled sharply, relief flooding through him. The alien girl's eyes glowed softly, acknowledging their victory. They had faced overwhelming odds, intelligent and relentless opponents, and emerged victorious not through brute force alone, but through strategy, ingenuity, and teamwork. The night was finally quiet. The colony remained intact, systems operational, and the threat neutralized for now. Alex leaned against a console, exhausted but exhilarated. The alien girl stood beside him, silent, observing the screens and the containment fields. Her presence was calming, almost reassuring, and Alex felt a deep sense of respect and gratitude. He realized something profound. Humans were capable of incredible things when challenged, when forced to think creatively, and when guided by intelligence, even alien intelligence. He had been tested, pushed to his limits, and he had risen. The alien girl had shown him the importance of trust, patience, and adaptability. Together, they had protected the colony, demonstrating that human ingenuity was a force to be reckoned with. As the first light of dawn touched the colony, Alex looked at the alien girl. She remained silent, watching the horizon, her glowing eyes reflecting both the night's dangers and the promise of what lay ahead. He felt a strange connection to her, a bond forged through shared struggle, trust, and mutual recognition. For the first time, he understood that human potential was limitless when combined with courage, creativity, and determination. The alien girl had entered his life silently, without explanation, yet she had awakened something extraordinary, not just in him, but in humanity itself. The colony was safe for now. But Alex knew this was only the beginning. The galaxy was vast, full of unknown threats, challenges, and wonders. Humans might not be the most powerful species, but their creativity, adaptability, and courage gave them an edge no one could anticipate. The alien girl turned to him briefly, her eyes glowing softly, and Alex understood her silent message. The journey was far from over. Together they would face whatever came next. The galaxy was unpredictable, dangerous, and full of surprises. But humans, clever and resilient, had a chance to rise, to adapt, and to prevail. And standing beside him, silent and otherworldly, the alien girl embodied the potential he had always known humans possessed. The potential to face the impossible, overcome it, and thrive. The sun rose over the colony, casting a warm golden light across the rugged terrain. After the night of relentless attacks, the settlement seemed calm, almost serene. Alex walked through the corridors, checking systems one last time. The alarms were silent, the energy readings normal, and the containment field secure. For the first time in many hours, he allowed himself a moment to breathe. The alien girl moved silently beside him, her presence steady and reassuring. She had not left his side since the first encounter, guiding him, teaching him, and helping him protect the colony. Alex still marveled at her abilities, her intelligence, her speed, her perception. But he realized the most remarkable thing about her was how she inspired him to act, to think, and to trust his own instincts. As he walked, Alex reviewed the events of the past night. The intruders had been intelligent, coordinated, and adaptive. They had tested every weakness in the colony's defenses, probing, learning, and challenging them at every turn. Yet, through strategy, creativity, and teamwork, he and the alien girl had overcome them. Humanity had prevailed, not through brute strength, but through ingenuity, resilience, and the ability to adapt in ways no other species had anticipated. The alien girl led him to the observation deck, where they could see the entire colony. The recovery efforts were already underway. Colonists were repairing damaged systems, recalibrating drones, and ensuring that every corridor, node, and energy hub was fully functional. Alex realized that despite the night's chaos, the colony had suffered minimal damage. Their defense strategy had worked, and the lessons learned would make the settlement even stronger. He turned to the alien girl. She stood beside him, silent and still, her glowing eyes reflecting both the sunlight and the energy readings from the horizon. Alex felt a sense of gratitude and respect welling up inside him. She had not only helped him save the colony, but she had also shown him something deeper, the true potential of humanity. "Thank you," he said quietly, unsure if she could understand his words. She tilted her head slightly, acknowledging him with a subtle gesture. In that moment, Alex realized that communication went beyond language. Their understanding had been forged through action, trust, and shared purpose. Words were not necessary to convey what they had experienced together. Alex began analyzing the intruder data more thoroughly. He noticed patterns he had not seen before, subtle signals, faint energy traces, and behavioral tendencies. These details revealed that the intruders were not acting randomly. They were scouts, sent to gather intelligence for a larger force. The threat was not completely gone. It had been delayed, contained but not eliminated. The alien girl gestured toward the main console, indicating that she wanted him to develop a long-term strategy. Alex nodded, understanding immediately. They could not rely on reactive defenses alone. The colony needed systems, plans, and contingencies to survive future attacks. He spent hours designing layered defenses, integrating energy barriers, automated drones, decoy systems, and containment protocols. The alien girl guided him silently, highlighting patterns and optimizing their strategy. Together, they created a network of protection that was adaptive, intelligent, and resilient. Every path, every corridor, every energy node was accounted for. Every possible weakness had a countermeasure. As the work progressed, Alex noticed something remarkable. The alien girl's abilities complemented his own in a way that made them stronger than any individual effort could. She could perceive, anticipate, and influence energy patterns, while he could think creatively, improvise, and apply human intuition. Together, they were a force capable of defending the colony against even the most intelligent threats. By mid-afternoon, the preparations were complete. Alex reviewed every system, running simulations to ensure their effectiveness. The results were impressive. The intruders or any other threats would find the colony nearly impossible to breach. He felt a surge of pride not just in the systems he had built, but in what humanity could accomplish when guided, challenged, and inspired. The alien girl stood quietly beside him, watching the simulation results. Alex realized that her presence had been a catalyst. She had not only helped him save the colony, but she had also awakened something in him: confidence, creativity, and a deep understanding of human potential. He decided to walk outside, to see the colony from the ground. The air was crisp, carrying the faint scent of minerals and distant flora. Colonists moved about, repairing minor damage and restoring systems. Alex's eyes scanned the perimeter. Everything was calm, yet he remained alert. The galaxy was unpredictable, and the intruder's larger force might still be out there, observing, calculating, waiting. The alien girl followed him silently. They walked together along the colony walls, side by side. Alex felt a sense of connection that he could not fully explain. This partnership had been formed under extreme circumstances, yet it felt natural, inevitable. She had entered his life silently, without explanation, and in doing so, had revealed something extraordinary: the potential of humans to rise above impossible challenges. Alex paused at the edge of the colony, looking out at the distant moons reflecting off the rugged terrain. "We did it," he said quietly. "We saved the colony." The alien girl's eyes glowed softly, acknowledging his words. He realized that this was not just about survival. It was about proving that humans could rise to challenges that no one expected them to overcome. He thought about the future. The intruders had been scouts, and their larger force might arrive someday. But now the colony was ready. Humans were not the fastest, strongest, or most technologically advanced species, but they were clever, adaptable, and resourceful, and Alex had witnessed firsthand how far those qualities could take them. The alien girl stepped closer, her presence reassuring. Alex noticed the subtle ways she communicated, through gestures, eye movements, and energy patterns. It was a silent language, but one that conveyed meaning with clarity and precision. He understood that trust had been built through action, through shared challenges, and through mutual respect. As the sun climbed higher, the alien girl gestured toward the horizon. Alex followed her gaze and saw distant energy signatures, small, fleeting, but unmistakable. They were not threats yet, but signs of the larger force. He felt a mixture of anticipation and determination. The galaxy was full of dangers, but humanity, unpredictable and ingenious, had a chance to survive, thrive, and even prevail. He turned to the alien girl. "We're ready," he said. "No matter what comes next, we can handle it." Her eyes glowed brighter, a silent acknowledgement of his words. For the first time, Alex felt a deep sense of confidence. He had been tested, challenged, and guided, and he had risen to meet every obstacle. He knew that humanity was capable of incredible things, and he was determined to prove it. The alien girl moved beside him, silent and calm. Together, they looked out over the colony, over the rugged terrain, and toward the horizon. Alex realized that the night's events had changed him. He was no longer just a human engineer. He was a protector, a strategist, and a representative of human potential. The galaxy was vast, full of unknown threats and wonders, but he was ready. As the day continued, Alex began training other colonists, teaching them strategies, contingency planning, and problem-solving skills. The alien girl observed, occasionally guiding with subtle gestures, ensuring that his lessons were effective. The colonists were quick learners, inspired by the events of the past night and by Alex's leadership. Together, they strengthened the colony, creating a resilient, intelligent, and adaptive community. By evening, the colony was fully operational, fortified, and prepared for any future attacks. Alex stood at the observation deck, looking out at the twin moons rising in the sky. The alien girl remained beside him, her eyes glowing softly. He felt a profound sense of accomplishment, not just in surviving the night, but in understanding the true nature of human potential. He reflected on the lessons he had learned. Humans were often underestimated, overlooked, and dismissed, but they were resourceful, creative, and capable of rising to any challenge. With courage, intelligence, and adaptability, humans could face the unknown, confront danger, and succeed where others might fail. The alien girl had shown him that potential, not through words, but through action, guidance, and trust. She had entered his life silently, without explanation, yet she had revealed something extraordinary: the power of human ingenuity, the importance of collaboration, and the value of perseverance. As night fell, Alex walked through the colony, observing the calm and the restored systems. Colonists moved confidently, secure in the knowledge that their home was protected. He realized that their success was not just due to technology or strength, but to human creativity, intuition, and courage. The alien girl had guided him, but it was his human mind that had turned strategy into victory. Finally, Alex returned to the observation deck. The alien girl stood beside him, silent and composed. He looked out at the horizon, at the moons reflecting light over the rugged landscape, and felt a deep sense of hope. Humanity had faced the impossible and prevailed. The colony was safe, and its people were ready for the future. He turned to the alien girl. She met his gaze, her eyes glowing softly. He realized that their partnership was more than a temporary alliance.